So I think this is going to be the last really hot day. It's supposed to get up in the hundreds today, but the wind is already starting to shift. It's starting to get pretty windy, breezy. Not windy, but breezy. And the wind is, this is south behind me. The wind is starting to shift. It's over in the west, northwest direction now, coming from that direction. So that means the wind is shifting, going to be hitting the north pretty soon. So the rest of the week, it's supposed to cool off pretty nicely. So I'm pretty excited about that. Which brings me back to the subject of air conditioning again. You know, we talk about this SHTF and the differences between preppers and off-gridders. You know, I say that preppers are short-term, they're stockpilers. That's all they know how to do is just make sure they got food to last 3 months. But they're going to go through the SHTF with their stockpile of 3 months worth of food. And it's just, they're thumping their chest all the time. Oh, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to stockpile. Oh, did I mention you're going to stockpile? You need to get more of these. But they never really tell you how to actually get through an SHTF. And air conditioning is the one thing I always bring up. If you need air conditioning to make it through the day, then you're not going to make it through SHTF. The best thing to do is shut it off. And if you can't shut it off, then you need to gradually raise the temperature on your air conditioner. I don't know, let's say you run it 76, 78 degrees, and I do know that that's a little hot for some people, but let's say you run it at 78 right now, tomorrow run it 79, then 80, then 81, and then eventually just shut it off. Figure out how to get the fan and the breeze to work. Right now I said that the wind is starting to shift from the northwest to the southeast. Well, we have a window all the way open on the north. We got a window open on the south, and the breeze just comes right through our house like a big old tunnel, just right through it. And you get that breeze. You get that breeze, you feel fine. Drink plenty of water though. Water is very important. And I know somebody's going to tell me, well, I have a medical condition. And I'm telling you, this is a problem. If you're wanting to survive SHTF, and you have a medical condition that you required air conditioner, I'm not sure how to get you through that. I'm not trying to be mean, it's just I don't know how to do it. How do you have air conditioning when there's no electric, no gas to run generators, and you don't have solar panels, enough solar panels, that's the key, to run an air conditioner. But yesterday, just yesterday, here in Missouri, there was a town that lost electric right in the biggest portion of the heat wave. I think it was the hottest day of the heat wave. And somebody ran into an electric line, electric pole, and knocked out the electric. And sure enough, people had heat-related injuries. And it was just out for a few hours. People don't think in these short-term things, like maybe you go to a mall or a shopping center, a Walmart, just walk around and enjoy the air conditioner. But what are you going to do? Heat-related injuries, already short-term power outage. What are you going to do when it's all day like Carolyn and I do? I mean, we just bear right through it. Carolyn's been just working up a storm today. I finally told her to take a break because she said, I'm starting to get a little worn out. But she's been doing laundry all day in the shade, running water down to the garden. I've been watering the chickens, running water. So there's 3 things I wanted to talk about today. That was the first one. I should have said that. The second thing I want to talk about is fertilizers for food. I think it's the Netherlands, and you don't have to quote me on this. I mean, I really may have misspoken, may not be the Netherlands. I don't get a reliable source of news. The only thing I get is YouTube and some news articles. And so who knows what I'm getting. But apparently the Netherlands have had a revolt against their government because the government has banned or reduced the amount of fertilizers they can use on their farms, on food. It's just gotten worse. And I could sit here and tell you that it's all these, I don't even know if they're conspiracy theories anymore, but YouTube would get upset if I started using these words. But I think a lot of people know that this is a planned event to short people on food. There are very wealthy, for lack of a better word, high-powered, maybe that's a better phrase, people in the world who want to eliminate some of the population. A lot of people have actually said this, that the population in the world's too big and only the powerful can survive. I don't know who's going to actually produce the food for the powerful, because they have no idea how to do it. But they want to eliminate a lot of the population, and the way to do that is through food. Control the food, you control the people. Now, I'm not trying to fearmonger. I mean, this is in the news today, that another powerful person who is connected to these powerful people, the Prime Minister of Canada, has basically said that they want to reduce emissions even more. And the way this has to be done is through reducing fertilizers. Apparently fertilizers produce some sort of emission. Canada wants to reduce their emissions through fertilizers. Well, farmers are saying, well, how are we going to feed the people? Canada was supposed to be the next country in line to help provide enough food for all the people in the world because of all the things that are going on in the world. Well, now he just said, no, we're not going to do it. This is strange to me. I mean, it really is strange, because they said that we were supposed to stop eating meat. Now, you got to understand, I'm a carnivore. That's pretty much all we eat. About 80% of our diet is meat. But they want us to stop eating meat. And so they've been trying to convince us for years that we have to be vegetarians. And they're trying to convince us that being a vegetarian is a more healthy diet than meat eating. To me, I've proven to myself that's not true. I've gotten off the carbs, I've gotten off the vegetables, I went straight to meat, and I've never been healthier in my life. Today I was carrying a water bucket and I got a little twinge in my shoulder. And I thought, oh my gosh, old age is hitting me again, because I used to get all these pains and aches and all the time, and I'm only 50 years old. And it was inflammation. Well, I mean, I set the bucket down, I shook off my arm for a second, picked it right back up, and the pain went away. It wasn't inflammation, I probably just twisted a little bit or something, but I'm already healed. I mean, it's just that fast. But they wanted us to get off meat, and they wanted us to get on vegetables. Well, they want to get on vegetables and carbohydrates because, well, the food companies make more money if you eat their garbage. Then you get sick because of all the garbage you're eating, and then you go to the doctor and pharmaceuticals get rich. So all the powerful people are pretty smart. They want to make us sick to get them richer, and then they want to eliminate the food so we all die off. Makes perfect sense. Then they can say, well, we've saved the planet, but then I don't know who's going to take care of the rich, because the non-powerful, the non-rich people are the ones that do the work. The farmers, the one there, Canada is just told the farmers of the world, we don't want you farming anymore. We don't want you making money. We don't want you feeding the people. So now the farmers are out of business. Who's going to feed the powerful? For a bunch of smart people, they are sure the dumbest smart people I've ever heard of. Preppers, they talk about the same thing, these stockpilers. Well, there's going to be food shortages in Canada. Get your stockpiles ready, you're going to need them. Well, how long are they going to last? Because if this is true, that they're trying to eliminate the population, you don't have enough food to make it. Now, of course, we raise chickens and we are self-reliant. We reproduce all the food that we need. We know how to feed the chickens without having to go to the store. We've got all that figured out. I've explained it 100 times. So I think we have a better plan than the preppers. So again, I would strongly recommend that if you haven't done it yet, go get yourself some chickens, or go get yourself some rabbits or ducks, something, so you can survive a meager life. I mean, it might be meager. To me, this life is wonderful. It's the best thing I've ever done. But if you are accustomed to the air conditioning and going to the store, it sounds to me like they're really trying to put a stop to that. Now, I know there's a lot of Americans who just won't believe that, and that's fine. But if you are into this SHTF thing, prepping isn't going to do it. Stockpiling isn't going to do it. Okay, one more thing I wanted to talk about. A few days ago, I made a video, and I was talking about how the ATF and the local sheriff went to this guy's house and they wanted to look at their guns because this guy bought several guns within the last year, and it triggered a database, and at the government level, the government sent out the ATF and the sheriff's department out to this guy's house and to look for the guns that he had purchased, to make sure there weren't straw purchases. Now, I've told you what straw purchases are. That's when you buy a gun and then you give that gun to somebody else. And the ATF kind of tricked the guy into thinking, well, there was going to be big trouble if they had to go get a warrant. Well, they didn't have enough evidence to go get a warrant, that he didn't do anything wrong. They were just fishing. Then I said, it seems to me that anytime something like this happens, People always say, they're gonna have to take those guns from my dead cold hands. But then somebody like the ATF walk up to the door and they're neither dead or cold, they're just handing them off. I mean, there's been a couple examples, like down in Waco. Those guys, they stood their ground. But then when I talk about Waco, because people will say, they'll never come for my guns. Well, then where were we when they attacked Waco? The FBI attacked them. Where were we? They were standing their ground. They were holding, because that's what the crime was illegal guns. That's why they went down there in the first place, to get those illegal guns. Well, the last time I brought this up, I heard a lot of people say, well, David Koresh was a cult leader. That's why he needed to be taken out. Well, honestly, being a cult leader is not illegal. I mean, you could say there are a lot of religions that are cults. The point is they were Americans, and they were going down there to take his guns, because just like the people who said he was a cult leader, the FBI and the CIA and all these people didn't want another cult leader, so they trumped up some charges on illegal guns. And when he stood his ground, well, at the time, the entire country all rooted for the FBI. Yeah, that's that's how you get the cult leader. I think things have changed a little bit since then. I think that there are more people now, not more, but more than before, that think that maybe the FBI got a little out of hand. Well, just turns out that my friend Dave down in Texas sent me an article, and there is a sheriff in the state of Washington, a blue state. And blue states typically try to ban guns, we know that. But there's a sheriff in Washington state who has told its citizens that if the ATF come to your door, based on this video that is out there that shows that the ATF went to this guy's door, that he wants you to ask for their warrant. And if they start pushing you around, he wants you to call the sheriff, him, to come out and settle the dispute. So there is another sheriff, like our sheriff. I told you about our sheriff. He isn't going to let the FBI investigate our CCW permits. So there's another sheriff in the country who's standing their ground against the federal government. I hope more sheriffs do the same. So another positive story, that the sheriffs at the local level are standing with the citizens while the powerful are trying to squash us. So if you can click that super thanks button down there, I really appreciate it. So I hope I can inspire you to plan ahead so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.